Abraham fell face down, overwhelmed by the Lord's presence, as God continued to speak. The birth of Isaac reminds us that God's promises never fail.
You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham.
In the ancient land of Canaan, there lived a man named Abraham. Chosen by God, he was promised to be the father of many nations. Yet, despite his faithfulness, Abraham and his wife Sarah carried a deep sorrow. Sarah was barren, and they had no child to fulfill God's promise of descendants, as numerous as the stars. Years turned into decades, and the promise seemed distant, yet Abraham continued to trust in the Lord. When Abraham was 99 years old, God appeared to him and renewed the covenant.
I am God Almighty. Walk before me and be blameless. I will confirm my covenant between me and you, and will greatly increase your numbers.
Abraham fell face down, overwhelmed by the Lord's presence, as God continued to speak.
You will be the father of many nations. No longer will you be called Abram. Your name will be Abraham, for I have made you a father of many nations. As for Sarai, your wife, her name will now be Sarah, and I will bless her. She will bear you a son, and through him, nations will rise.
Overcome with amazement, Abraham laughed and said to himself, "Will a child be born to a man who is 100 years old? Will Sarah bear a child at the age of 90? But God's assurance was unwavering.
Your wife Sarah will bear you a son, and you will call him Isaac. I will establish my covenant with him as an everlasting covenant for his descendants after him."
Time passed, and one day, as Abraham sat at the entrance of his tent during the heat of the day, he looked up and saw 3 men standing nearby. Recognizing them as messengers of the Lord, Abraham hurried to welcome them and prepared a meal for his guests. As they ate, one of them spoke.
I will surely return to you about this time next year, and Sarah your wife will have a son.
Inside the tent, Sarah overheard the conversation. She laughed to herself and thought, "After I am worn out and my Lord is old, will I now have this pleasure?" But the Lord's response was direct.
Why did Sarah laugh and say, "Will I really have a child now that I am old? Is anything too hard for the Lord? I will return to you at the appointed time next year, and Sarah will have a son."
True to God's promise, Sarah conceived. The months passed, and in her old age, she gave birth to a son. Abraham named him Isaac, as the Lord had commanded.
God has brought me laughter, and everyone who hears about this will laugh with me. Who would have said to Abraham that Sarah would nurse children? Yet I have borne him a son in his old age.
Isaac grew, and with his birth, God's promise to Abraham was fulfilled. Through Isaac, the covenant was passed on, ensuring blessings for generations to come. The miraculous birth of Isaac stands as a testament to God's faithfulness and his power to accomplish the impossible. The birth of Isaac reminds us that God's promises never fail. Even when hope seems lost and the wait is long, his plans are accomplished in his perfect time. Through faith, we witness the joy and fulfillment that comes from trusting in the Lord. Thanks for watching. Please don't forget to like, share, and subscribe to Soulful Bible Stories for more amazing Bible stories.